everyone, and welcome back to Horse Center. I'm Wild Jamie. With me is my wonderful co-host, Swiss Army Sean, and our special guest tonight is a jockey agent, the best jockey agent out there, if you ask me, and that is Steve Hayes. Welcome to the show, Steve.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So Steve and I have a bit of a personal connection because one of the jockeys he currently works for is my husband, Willie Martinez, but he's an awesome guy completely apart from that. We're very happy to have you on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. So tell us a little bit about how you got your start in racing.
So my dad and his partner went to Canada to buy his partner's wife a kitchen. And the place they went to was across from Woodbine Racetrack. And the partner goes, hey, why don't we go over to the track? They went over to the track and they actually were having a sale. They did not come home with a kitchen. They came home with a horse. And that was how we kind of got started into the horse race business when I was like 9. So it's been a few years back.
Okay, so you basically grew up around the barn then?
Yeah. I Commodore Downs, right down the street from Presque Isle, was the first track I'd went to, and grew up there and started ponying horses when I was 14, and I got hooked. Started on the starting gate with started Jimmy Pertz, and traveled to Arapahoe, worked out in Denver on the gate, and ended up back in Cleveland for years and years on the starting gate, and then went into the office and became an official.
Okay, very cool. That was actually one of the questions I was going to ask you is what other jobs you've had at the racetrack besides being an agent. So it sounds like you've done quite a bit, huh?
Well, from pilot, I used to take it from here and pilot over there. That was my first job, and then a pony boy, and then I worked on the starting gate. I was the placing judge, identifier, did all the jobs in the office, and then when I started having children and needed a little more free time, that's where I went into the agent back in 2000. So I've been an agent for 23 years.
Wow, that's amazing. I did not realize that you have been an agent that long, but it doesn't surprise me. You are a well-known fixture around that area for sure. So out of all of those jobs that you've done, which one has been your favorite?
I enjoyed being the paddock judge. When I was younger, I liked the starting gate too. It was, it was action, it was fun, and worked with a great crew in Cleveland for Buddy Cunningham was the starter, and the guys, it's just kind of like part of a team. I did enjoy that, but I think the jockey agent is probably the most rewarding if you like people and you like action. It's different every day. You got a little, a little bit in every game, just about.
Yeah. It's so interesting. To me, it looks so difficult, but almost every agent I talk to says that they love it. Like Paula Bacon, Eddie Joe Zambrana, they're like, no, this is the best.
Yeah. It's got its moments, when you only have, when two people want the same guy, somebody's going to be disappointed. And,
right.
You hate to disappoint somebody, but it's going to happen. And that's probably the worst part of it.
Okay, so you are well known for just having a really sunny disposition, being super friendly, never really showing any anger or negativity. How do you keep that positive attitude when something does not go your way business-wise?
Well, probably go home and drink a few beers and forget about it.
Okay, fair enough. I love that.
Because it's more times than one. You lose more than you win.
Right.
And when I first started, it was hard, and I probably one of the first agents that I kind of tried to learn from was Paul Sloop. And he told me, he says, listen, they can be mad at the jock or they can be mad at you, but don't let them be mad at both of you.
Okay.
So, I kind of tried to live by them words, and I tried to never let them be mad at me.
Okay. Fair enough.
So when you say two people, you don't want to upset one. How do you decide which one you are going to pick and which one you are going to make upset?
So numbers play a little bit of it, handicapping, but I try to ride for people. People I have relationships with, people that trust you, that you're not getting over on them. Some people will just tell them whatever they want to hear, but I kind of went the other route with that. But I'm not afraid to. I'm gonna call Willie. I'm gonna call Scott. Let me talk with them. Let's try to see what the best angle is. So I let the jocks have a lot of say. Some of them guys are too proud, and they say them jocks always pick wrong. Well, you know what? They're paying the notes, so I'm gonna let them have a little say.
Actually, speaking of that, a little bit of a tangent here. We just got a comment coming in from Willie Martinez. Did I make the right move today? He's the best to be around, always in a good spirit, great horseman himself, my man. So that was something that we said right before we went live, was the horse that Willie went on today that paid, what was $135?
Exactly.
Yeah, so he could have rode another one, but pick this one.
We had to call on that horse. Willie liked him when he rode her last time, and he wanted to ride her back. And then I think the trainer had two in the race, and he thought the other horse might have been better, and he wanted Willie to ride the better one. And they kind of changed late, and so that night, we had to check on the next morning, and Willie and I talked, and he said, maybe I'm making the wrong move, but I kind of like this filly. So we went with that, and she paid $135. So, yeah, right move, Willie.
And we do have to mention, you have had a phenomenal week this week. Of course, Willie won with that long shot. He won another one earlier in the day. But Scott Spieth, your other rider at Presque Isle Downs, won the Tom Ridge Stakes. So what was that like?
Yeah, Scott's had a great first couple weeks up here. I think maybe he's third in the standings. And they've been working with this horse, all winter and he's really come around, and Aldana did a wonderful job with him, and it was good for the whole team.
Wonderful.
Anytime you can put it on Jose Ortiz down the lane, you did something right.
Amen.
So that's what I was going to ask too. Take your emotions. We know the bettor's emotions when you're coming down the stretch and what horse you have. Take us through the jockey agent emotions, or are they kind of similar?
Well, I wish I'd have been on them both. Put it that way, it wouldn't have mattered to me. But when I had my heart there with Scott, and I see he had a pretty good hold on that outside rein. He was trying to get up on that horse, but Scott rode a great race, and I knew that horse's history, that the more he digs, he gets bothered, he digs in. And when that horse bumped him coming out of the turn, I knew from talking with Scott that he's going to fight back, and it just made him dig in even more.
Yeah, I always think that's a good move with the jockeys when they engage and they get close, but you don't want to get too close, because when you do bump, you do ignite a lot of horses. You do ignite that fire and get that re-engagement.
Exactly. Yep.
So in your 23 years, and we know you have Willie Martinez and Scott Spieth right now, who are other jockeys you've had?
So my first jockey I had was Scott Sato, who's actually a steward there at Presque Isle now.
Yeah.
And him and he was multi-time leading rider. I had Julio Felix, who's now in Chicago, and him and I I think he won 68 stakes,
Wow.
together. Just a phenomenal man. One of my all-time favorites was Mario Pino. Mario was such a class act when he was riding here at Presque Isle. Just enjoyed being around him and the stories.
Friend of the show.
I have Louis Rivera over in Ohio now. He was leading rider last couple of years. He's actually in the top of the standings this meet also.
Awesome.
He's probably my year-round guy. Scott and Willie take off and go to Florida in the winter, and Louis and I, we battle it out at Mahoning Valley, so the weather's not quite as nice.
How often do you have to go to Ohio for that?
Well, I got to get a license, so I get over there probably once a year.
Oh.
Okay.
So, I'll backtrack a little bit. I lived in Ohio for 26 years and worked Thistledown from, like I said, every job, and became an agent. I have a great clientele base over there that I built up over the years. Jeff Radosevich, who's been, I don't know how many times lead trainer.
Love Jeff Radosevich.
Yeah, just a great guy and kind of my main guy, and he's kind of fed my family for years.
Awesome.
Yeah. I love all the Radoseviches, but I got a special place in my heart for Jeff. He's fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't take my wife around him much either.
Probably a smart move on your part.
Yes.
Okay, Steve. So you've seen a lot around the track. You've been doing this for a while. What do you think makes a good jock agent?
Well, I think Mike Moran is probably as good an agent that I've worked with. He puts his hooks into somebody and they ain't getting away. I mean, he's relentless. He lives and breathes, horse racing. I wish I could be a better agent, but I'm what I am, and I go about it a little different than him, but he gets it done. I mean, Tampa. I worked Tampa 3 winters, and it's a tough track to, there's 150 riders, and Mike just seems to prevail, and just no matter who he's got, they're the guy.
Right.
So you gotta have good clientele. You gotta have good rapport with people, and you gotta be consistent. Is my biggest thing. If you walk in that guy's barn at 5:30, you walk in there every day at 5:30, so they know you're coming. They don't want to have to look for you. So.
Gotcha. Okay. And you've worked at a lot of tracks. Do you have a favorite?
Well, my favorite track is Keeneland, just because it's Keeneland.
Sure.
And I took my wife to the Breeders' Cup last year for her birthday, and we've been down there this spring already. Really good friends with Wayne Mogi, and we stay with him, and he's the stall manager down there. So when we go, we get treated like kings and queens. And,
awesome.
It's just that's my favorite track, yeah. But the work, I don't know. I mean, Presque Isle's home. I grew up here, and 25 minutes away from Presque Isle, is where I went to high school. I like the area. I have a 20-acre horse farm here now, and mares and babies, and, turnouts and stuff like that. So, I really don't have a favorite working track.
Okay, fair enough. So do you ever give your jockeys like riding advice, or do you just kind of keep that to yourself?
Well, I kind of told Willie this morning, quit looking back. There's nothing behind you. Look at, but he had a bug girl inside of him, and he was making sure she was out of there. So, but no, I don't tell them guys what to do. I mean, I haven't had many young riders, put it that way.
Okay.
I think Louis Stokes might have been my youngest rider I ever had.
Okay.
And them older guys, they know how to get around there. They know what they're doing. It's just one less thing I got to worry about.
Fair enough.
So what's your daily schedule look like?
Well, it depends on the day of the week. It starts, I get up about 4:30 and start going over my stuff and, charting a few races, and then I head to Presque Isle, stay out there, and I get them guys around, and then I usually head to my truck about 8:30 for scratch time and name on it, Thistle, and just check it on things, making my phone calls. Presque Isle has a lot of trainers that aren't really at the track, so you do have to call them. I dealt with Mike Trombetta for years when Scott and Willie both were riding a lot for him, and that was a phone call every day at the same time. So I make my calls, and then I get my entries done at both tracks, and then I head back to the farm and wrap things up a little bit, and then get ready for the afternoon races.
Now, you mentioned charting races. Can you, in like layman's terms, explain what charting races is for the people that wouldn't know?
So I have I keep track of like the bigger stables that I ride for. Some trainers want support, want help. I don't want to miss this. I want that. Some like to do it themselves. They want control of it, and they don't want me telling them where to run their horse. But some of them won't even pick a condition book up. They want to know, all right, what do I got for this day? And we go over that. And so I usually do that, a couple days in advance, and when I talk to them, this is coming up, that, so they know, and they'll ask me about a specific horse, and I'll find a race for them, and kind of what I'll look at pull the charts up from the day before. Look who was claimed. Look who was, change of ownership. The horse been running short. He's probably better for a long race. Just handicapping, but not betting. You're kind of betting on yourself, to find the right horse for the right race.
Is that one of those like thankless jobs when you lose, it's your fault, you put them in the wrong race, but if you win, it's trainer did a great job?
Certain people, yes. I have a couple clients that will totally say, man, he's moved this horse in the right races, and they're not afraid to tell you. Like I said, I ride for people more than I do horses. You got to ride the bad ones with the good ones, and you just hang in there. You ride for people that win races. For years here at Prescott, I rode almost everything for Gerald Brooks, and he was leading trainer year after year after year. So it's just times change. If somebody's ready for some owner finally gets a little input, like I want to try this guy. I want to try that guy. Man, that guy's getting too old. Stuff like that. I hear that all the time, and then I think, well, Mario Pino wasn't too old. He kept winning up to 7,000 races.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just wonder, how do you stay organized? Do you use technology, or are you just like writing it all in a condition book?
So I work off my iPad a lot. I have in my notes, I keep my horses in categories and trainers, and but I use Thoroughgraph, trainer data.
Sure.
It's a guide is all it is. I'm not saying their numbers are better than buyers or, this or that, but for me, you got two horses that are close. Well, this horse runs a 12, 12, 12. This one's running a 14, 14, 14. Well, maybe we go with the 12. So,
okay.
Yeah, technology plays a lot of it. But my guys are good with communication. Scott calls me every night after the last race, after he rides, and he gives me the rundown, like of what happened out there. This and that. We need to ride this horse back. Don't let this one get away. And Willie does the same thing. Like, just like that $135 winner, he wanted to ride it back.
Sure.
And there's ones that will say, man, maybe put somebody else on that one.
Gotcha.
You got to have good communications. I believe you have to like the person you're working with.
Right.
If you don't want to go out and have dinner with them, and that's one thing. But when you get to you got to be able to get along.
Now, you said if they don't want to ride the horse back, maybe give them to somebody else. But say that horse is available, and that's the only horse available in that race. Do you still take that horse then?
Lost you, Sean.
Uh-oh. I think we lost Steve. I see you. Oh, he's out. Okay.
I heard that clearly.
Big head. Oh, he got me. Dang it, Steve, you got me. He'll be back, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a really good day. I loved today. I got to watch Willie win 2 races. Here
I
he
missed
comes.
that second one. I missed that second one.
Yeah, it was the last race at Prescott.
Here I come.
We were all right, perfect.
So I said, when you said about if they say, oh, well, that horse comes available next time, maybe leave it to somebody else. But say that horse is available and that's the only ride available for that race. Do you still take it?
Not necessarily. I'll talk with the trainer. I'll talk with, and I mean, we're not about, if you don't get along with something, why shove it down their throat and just go around? If you're not going to get, I'm about effort. I was with my boys. If you can't give top effort, if you don't feel comfortable, that $18 I'm going to get for losing Jock Mount ain't going to change my life. So sometimes sitting out the race and then, something happened. This guy had a flat tire and didn't make it. And you're sitting in the room and maybe the best horse comes available.
That's true. That's very true. I have seen a lot of riders. Just the other day we were talking about Kathleen O'Connell, and Antonio happened to be there, right place, right time, and won 2 big stake races that day in Calder. So
yeah, without a doubt, happens all the time.
That's
Somebody's
true.
flight gets canceled. They don't get there, and so sometimes it's better to pass and just,
Yeah. Fair enough. So, what is the best part of your job as an agent?
My paycheck.
Fair enough. Same here as a pharmacist. Absolutely.
Yeah, I got good guys. The best part is the the people I work for. I got friends out there that are, some people are more my friends than they are my clients. I just,
sure.
I like people. I like what I do. I like action. Thing is, I don't bet. I worked in the racing office for so long where I wasn't allowed to bet, so I'm not a bettor.
Right.
So I'm betting on my guys. I just root for them, and I know I'm gonna get paid on Friday.
Okay, well, did you make a bet today? Because if so, you're doing pretty good.
Well, I bet on Willie, and he win 2 today. So
yeah, absolutely. So, what is the hardest part of your job?
Telling somebody, like when you have them too, you can just, I can't ride your horse. What do you mean? That's the worst part. Going to tell somebody, which it shouldn't be. It's just part of business. It's part of, there's only one of you, somebody wants Willie or wants Scott or wants, whoever. There's only one of them. So, somebody going to get left out. And in my opinion, that's the worst part for me.
Makes sense.
So what about, because this is interesting to me, because I can't be a trainer, I can't be a jockey, I can't be a track announcer. I've thought about the jockey agent thing.
You can't be a jockey?
If somebody wants to be a jockey agent, how do they go about that?
Well, first of all, they got to be comfortable with horse. They got to ride. They got to, whether they're starting at a farm, in Puerto Rico, they have a school, jockey school, and they put them through the whole thing. But for a kid around, Erie, Pennsylvania, you better just go get a job cleaning stalls, walking horses. You got to start on the ground. You got to know every move a horse makes. Then you start riding, and then you get with somebody that can teach you. Some of these know-it-alls, they show up and they're like, yeah, I can ride. Well, it ain't that easy. You got to put your time in, they changed. I'm not sure what some of the states changed from 16 to 18 now. 16 was just too young. These kids weren't, they weren't ready. So, you just, I would say just keep working on the ground. Don't rush that riding thing. You can gallop horses for years and learn and, just hang in there. It'll come.
What about doing your job in the jockey agent? Like I said, I could never be a jockey.
You don't want to do it. It's terrible. I tell people, why would you want to get cussed out every day? They used, the jock agent was the bloodsuckers, they were the worst people in the world. They lie, they steal, it's
okay, Steve. He likes abuse. He's on horse racing Twitter, so he would feel weird if he didn't get verbally abused.
And it's not for everybody. You got to be able to take that because I've seen guys that they just can't handle it when them trainers scream and yell, and you got to have thick skin. If you don't want to do this job.
Yeah.
So so they got to blame somebody. So
yeah, we all know that. It can never be just that person's fault. It's got to be somebody else's fault.
And it can never be just the horse. Like sometimes the horse just doesn't want to run that day, but we can never blame the horse. There's always got to be somebody involved.
and 90% of the time, it is the horse.
Yeah, exactly.
When you tell somebody that's their baby, that's
yeah,
had to be somebody's fault. Usually the jock's the first to go.
Yeah.
So you just dig deep and find another one.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
What about tracks? Are there any tracks that you haven't visited just as a fan or whatever that you would like to visit?
Yeah. I haven't been to Saratoga. And
what?
Because we're always racing.
You gotta go to Saratoga.
Yeah, we're always racing. When I worked at Thistledown for years in the office and on the gate, you could never get out of there because when they're racing, that's when we're racing. And I thought about when I got to Presque Isle, but I did make it to the Belmont 3 times, and that was a great experience. But I just haven't got to Saratoga, and my wife, she's kind of been like, I think we got to get that in there. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Saratoga's beautiful. I want to go this summer. So
I broke my maiden last year. That's how some of us on Horse Racing Today met each other. I will say it was great, but I'm not a party guy, and it was more the party atmosphere than it was about horse racing, which I found weird. Like I'm more of you could put me with 5,000 claimers, 10 races, and I would be just as excited as the big races and the crowd. So, but it was cool with like the jockeys walking through the crowd and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that's on my bucket list.
Yeah, maybe we'll make a field trip. Well, me, you, your wife, and Willie will do a double date field trip to Saratoga this summer.
Oh boy, I don't know. I kind of never. If you think back, I never really hung out with my jockeys' wives because, I never go on vacations with them. I know a lot of people do, but I like to keep my job.
Okay. I love it. That's great. And you also keep your wife away from the people you work with, like Jeff Radosevich. Very smart.
Yeah. We don't go out to the track much because, I tell people all the time that fence around that place is really not to keep people out. It's to keep them other people in there.
Right. I love that. Okay, so this is a little bit on topic then. Let's say that horse racing did not exist. What do you think that you would do if you were not a jock agent? Nothing horse racing involved.
I coached football and wrestling for years.
Okay.
And my boys were both there.
Uh-oh. I think we're losing him again, huh?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Yeah, his boys are very athletic. That's for sure. Oh. I thought I heard something, and then it disappeared.
Yeah, I think he's still here, and he's probably still talking, but we cannot hear it.
Yeah. Aw, shucks. Technology always fails us, Sean.
You might have to kick him out so he gets back in.
Yeah. Let me just... There we go.
Then when he comes back, I'll say you kicked him out. Oh, how can you do that?
That's just who I am. That's what I'm about. I can't believe you're not a party animal. I'm a party animal.
No, not at all.
Oh, nope. He flashed. He'll be back. HRT road trip could be interesting.
Yeah, we want to do that.
You're invited because you're on here all the time. So I think you could be a party animal like me. We'll do the party and we'll leave Sean in the paddock.
Well, see, my thing with the partying is if you want to party and, if you want to party, I would party outside of the horse track. When I'm at the horse track, I want to concentrate. Any sporting event, if I go to a football game, I'm all about the game. I'm not about the party atmosphere of it.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, it's just, if you want to party, let's go to the club and party. Let's not do it here. That's just how I am. I
like to be partying all the time. So.
And I'm also one of those people, when I go to an event, I like to get there a little bit early and I like to stay till it's done. I don't understand the people that are able to, leave a race or two before or anything like that. I can't go with people like that because I do not want to leave.
I know. I hate it when people do that. My husband is so guilty of that. He loves to leave. Steve's back. He loves to leave everything early. Yeah. Steve, it was all Swiss Army Sean. He was like, kick Steve out of here. He's going on too long. I was like, okay, but now you're back. Okay.
So I would have to say coaching. I would be in coaching of some sort. I like kids. I like sports, and that's probably where I would have ended up.
Perfect. That makes perfect sense, actually, because I do know your boys are incredibly athletic, so I'm sure you had a lot to do with that.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Very cool. All right. Well, we're already at half an hour. Sean, you got anything else before we let you
go? I'll ask one question. Besides sports and besides horse racing, when you have time, what are your other hobbies and interests?
Well, I like to travel. I do take great vacations. With the key.
I heard traveling and vacations.
I heard too. And now he's gone again.
Aw, poor Steve. His internet is flaking out on us here. I'm going to try and take him out again and see if we can get him back. Oh, how did I end up the big head again? I'm off my game. Dang it.
Yeah, so he said he had no internet issues, and I came on before the show, and he started with the internet issues, and it's continued through the show, so I don't know.
I know. Yeah.
It's always one of us. It's whether, it's either me, you, Rich, Julie, or the guest. It's always somebody.
Facts. Not everyone's internet can be running smoothly. Oh, he's back. You're back. So we heard that you like to travel and go on vacation.
Yeah, and probably I got the farm. We do a lot there, so that's probably my interest.
Very, very cool. Wonderful. Well, we appreciate you. I know that you're very busy. You've had a very busy day, and you're actually there at an important meeting, and you stepped out of that to be with us. So thank you so much for that. Yeah. We really appreciate it.
Well, anytime. It was great talking to you, and I hope everybody enjoyed the camaraderie.
Absolutely. We will have to have you back on again. It was a real treat.
Yeah, good deal.
All right, gang. Have a good night, Steve. I'll see you soon. I'll be up there in like a week.
Yeah, that's what you really said. Okay, Sean, nice to talk to you.
Nice to talk to you, Steve.
See
Thanks.
ya. Bye. Haha, got you that time.
You're like 1 out of 4 tonight.
I know. It's not a good batting percentage.
But that's okay, because in horse racing, if you're 25% jockey, you are there. You are there. So
I'm like beating Irad Ortiz now. This is amazing.
Well, let's not go that far. You're a little behind, but I can be your agent, so I get.
Okay, there we go. We'll work this out. I'll ask Willie how to be a jockey. You ask Steve how to be an agent. We got this.
Okay, there we go.
All right. Well, what else have we got going on, Sean?
Tomorrow the guys will be back. I'm not sure what track, and also with all the cancellations, who knows?
Yeah, it's been wild this week.
Yeah, but I'm sure they'll have a show tomorrow, so check that out. Next week's Horse Center schedule, I keep doing this, but I'm still filling it out. We did have a guest Monday, but it's not going to work, so always pay attention to the socials at Horse Race, the number 2 day. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I think I got them all.
Got them all.
Yeah, just pay attention to that because I always announce once we know. So
yes,
we'll have a lineup next week.
And the week after should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. We got Kenny Rice, who's never been on the show before.
Yeah.
That'll be exciting. Maria Bowersock. She's awesome. And then I'm really excited about our little double feature. I think this is our first husband-wife duo, right?
Oh, I don't want to say yes, but I think so.
I think so. I mean, we've had husbands and wives on before, but not together. Yeah. Oh, no, wait. I think that maybe Trevor and Katie did a little.
Trevor and Katie, yes, they were on together. Yes, they were.
Oh, well.
And the baby. So you can't top that. You can't top that. So,
well, newlyweds, Angel Suarez and Aubrey. So.
Yeah, we've had them both on separately, and then we had Aubrey on the mental health show as well. So Jockey Health show. So, they're always fun to have on. Now they're going to be on together. So
yes, wonderful people and newly married. So I'm sure, and absolutely on fire in Louisiana. I just saw Angel 1-4 the other day. So very exciting to talk about that transition. And
I think he's leading the standings, to tell you the truth. And I think Aubrey's like 4th or 5th. So they're both doing really well, which is good because for a while. They had to be in different locations. Now, how great is that they can be together and win as high as they are? And then Maria Bowersock, you keep saying how we have to get her on, so we're finally getting her on. And then Kenny Rice is the reason. I want to say the reason you're here because that whole thing happened with that, so we can go into that story. And I met him at Pimlico on. I want to say it was Preakness Day. If it wasn't, it was that Friday. But I think it was Preakness Day that I met him.
Yeah.
Didn't get to talk to him long, but really nice guy. And
he's the best.
Was more than willing to come on. So that was great. Because he's not very active on social, so it was hard to get him on social. But walked right up to him, told him who I was, and made it happen right away. So awesome.
Yeah, he's so kind. I cold call reached out to him one day, and he got right back to me. I wasn't expecting that. I think I emailed him if I remember right. So very, very nice.
Yeah, he was in the middle of something and he gave me his phone number quick. And a lot of people, when they do that, they kind of give the phone number. And if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. But he was like, "Do you got that? Do you got that?" Making sure I had it because he was really interested. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, no, he's a really nice guy and he knows his stuff. He's been doing this for quite some time. So he should be a fun guest.
And he's done a lot of other sports too. So.
Oh yeah, that's true. I wouldn't know that as much because I don't follow any other sports, but I've heard that. So.
Yeah, and I think he was part of the ESPN coverage when he did horse racing too. So.
Yeah.
That was early 2000s, I think.
Very cool. All right. Well, as my man Sean said, follow us, like us, subscribe, please. We appreciate that. We are on all the socials, basically: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Horse Race the number 2 day. Don't forget to show us a little love there because that helps us help you. And we hope we'll see you on all of the different social media platforms. But one place we know we will see you is in the
Winner's Circle.
Winner's Circle. Good night, everyone.